Good morning, everyone. How many of you are here at 8:30? No, I'm kidding. It's nice. It was a wonderful time change to our advantage, this time. It's nice to fall back, isn't it? And it worked out really well with Halloween, So, who had a good Halloween? Oh, yay, all right, good. Nice to hear, wonderful. Halloween's a wonderful time. I understand that a lot of people went to Reverend Bob and Reverend Patty's house too. A lot of people stopped by, so that's great. And I'd like to thank all of you that attended our dance social, so you don't get to hear those announcements anymore. We had a good time. It was a small, intimate group, but we had a really good time. So we'll look out for that next year. Today is a very special service, as some of you must know. As you saw by the Oshoku representatives, today is our annual pet memorial service. It is a day when we take the time to remember all of the wonderful pets that have been such a big part of our lives. I've had many pets in my life, but before I begin, anyone who's ever owned a pet, I mean as a kid or an adult, anybody who's ever owned a pet, raise your hand. Look at that. Now I want you to keep them up, look around, turn around, you guys, look at each other, look at this. Look at this. Look up in the cheap seats. I mean, no. No. Yes. Good. Thank you. Put your hands down. Again, I didn't see exactly, but that looked like 93.6% of you right now in this room. Amazing. I didn't realize it would be that many, but that is amazing. That is a lot of people. And just by looking around in this room alone, it shows what a big part of our lives that our pets are. I was doing a little research on the internet, and I think I found a little SPCA website. It said there are approximately 70 to 80 million dogs that are owned in the United States. 70 to 80 million dogs. And there are between 74 to 96 million cats. That's a 20 million swing either way, but it's hard to count those cats. You know, they're all over the place. They move around a lot, so I understand. And that's only dogs and cats, right? That's not birds and turtles and hamsters and guinea pigs and snakes or whatever else you guys have. I'm sure you have a lot of different kind of pets. Americans spend over $60 billion a year on their pets. Can you believe that? $60 billion. So that's obviously the food. How many dog beds do you have, right? I mean, you have one for the upstairs, one for the downstairs, one for this room, that room. So we spend a lot on our pets because they're such a big part of our lives. And I couldn't help but wonder, why are pets so important to us? Why are they such a big part of our lives? And, who remembers, this is about, I would say, decades ago, maybe 20 years ago. Who remembers going to the Ardmore Mall and having that pet store in the mall? Everybody remember that, right? Man, I mean, and I wasn't a parent back then, but boy, I would have hated walking past that store with a bunch of kids, because it's like you're getting done with your shopping. It was on the second floor right at the end, right? Right as you have to go down the escalator. So you think you're home free, you got all your shopping done, and your pets are like, Mommy, let's go into the pet store, right? And you're like, oh, no. And they put the cutest little dogs and kittens right at the front window. So you tell your kids, 1 minute, okay? We're only going in there for 1 minute. That was the longest minute of your life, because you ended up walking out with a little pet. You know what I mean? So what you thought was going to be 1 minute turned into one whole pet's lifetime. And it's funny, because when your kids are in there, what do they say to you? Can we please get the little puppy, Mom? Look, can we please get the little puppy? What do they say? I promise I'll take care of it. I promise I'll feed it. I'll give him a bath. I'll comb him every day. Will you pick up his potty? I'll pick up his potty every day. Every day for the next 3 days. And then after that, who's doing it, right? Mommy and Daddy, right? And, you sit there, and as you're doing it on day 4, you're like, I knew they'd never pick up the potty. I knew they weren't going to do it in your wash. I knew he wasn't going to take care of the dog. But something happens a little magically over the next couple weeks. Something happens, and all of a sudden, you start to bond with this little pet, right? At first, you're blaming your kid. Why did they make me get it? And then as the weeks go by, who's the pet sitting next to all the time? You know what I mean? Who's the pet sleeping next to all the time? And it grows on you, and your pet becomes a part of your family, right? And they look at you, and they just look at you with those little eyes, and it just melts your heart, right? No matter what they did. And coming home after a hard day of work, nothing is better than coming home to your little dog wagging their tail, right? And they don't wag their tail, they wag their whole body. They wag their whole body when they come to see you. They're so happy. Loving a pet and having a pet love you back is one of the most rewarding things in life. And I know a lot of people, that have a hard time expressing themselves to other people, whether it's at work or social situations. They're not comfortable talking to people. And I even know people that don't have a lot of friendships with people. They have a difficult time. But these same people have these amazing relationships with their pets. And I wondered why. I said, how is it that they can't engage with other people, but they can have this tremendous bond with their pet? And I think it's because a pet never judges you. A pet never judges you, right? A pet doesn't view the world or you or people with any ego. A pet doesn't view anything with any ego. A pet just sees things as they are. It sees people as they truly are. We use a term called sonomama, just as it is, just as it is. And a pet will never look at a person and say, my, that person could sure lose a few pounds, right? A pet would never do that, as like we do. Oh, we would never do that either, right? No. But, and a pet would never say, oh my gosh, she is so annoying. I really don't like her, right? A pet would never say, well, maybe they do. I don't know. Maybe they do. But they don't do that, right? That's what I mean. A pet doesn't judge. And that's why we have such a connection to our pets. No matter what we do, no matter how bad we mess up that day, no matter how bad we, misstep that day, your pet's still going to just look at you and go, you're the greatest. You're the best. You're the best. I love you. I love you, man. I love you. So it's great. And lately, we've been getting rescue shelter pets. And I've heard stories and I've seen shelter pets come. And again, I'm amazed at these pets. I'm amazed at how their lives can be transformed. Some of these pets in the shelter have had such a terrible, terrible life. You've heard of these stories. You've seen them on internet posts. They've been forced to fight. They've been living in horrible conditions. They've not been taken care of. And they're scared. They're frightened. They're angry. Yet, with a bit of luck and a lot of care and a lot of love, they come out of that situation and they get adopted into a new home, and they start a new life. And it's incredible that they can shed those memories of the past and all of the wrong things that have happened to them and all the abuse. And once they come into a new environment and we love them, they can accept that love. Their hearts can open up to receive that love. And that is another amazing, amazing lesson that we can learn from our pets, because they truly just live in the moment. They exist just in that reality that is right now. If only we as human beings can learn this lesson, we can get over a lot more things and we can let go of a lot more things. And that's a hard thing to do. So really quickly, let me tell you a story. This is a pet story, okay? And I told this story before to you, but I'll tell it again. So many years ago, many decades ago, my wife Janet used to work actually in the front office as the office administrator. And so what happened was, we had a lot of stray cats because we're downtown. We had a lot of stray cats, right? And there's the fish market there, so they're all over the place. And Janet noticed there's one little really cute Siamese cat, little cross-eyed Siamese, and she was the cutest little thing. And she noticed that it was really skinny, so she started putting out a little bowl of food. Well, you know what happens when that happens, right? Now everybody comes out, hey, tell your friends, it's a buffet. So then she started feeding these cats. And we noticed one day that the poor little Siamese cat was limping around. She's limping around, so we started calling her Broken Leg, It's like a Native American name, Broken Leg. So we called her Broken Leg because, we didn't want to take these cats in and name them, but we started calling her Broken Leg, and she was still the sweetest cat, and she always ate last. All the other cats came and then pushed her aside, and so Janet would always save a little thing for her. Anyway, one day we noticed Broken Leg's belly got big. Broken Leg was having babies, right? Broken Leg was a girl, apparently. So what happened was, one day we noticed that she gave birth to this litter of kittens. It was right in the front, right by the front railing in the dirt. And there were 6 little kittens, brand new. Their eyes were closed and they're sitting there. We're like, and obviously Broken Leg was a really young mother and she didn't really have the instincts. No one taught her how to take care of these cats. So she pretty much just took off. And then we didn't have, this is a long time ago. We didn't have Google back then. I remember. So we didn't know what to do. We called the vet, and they're like, oh, yeah, you can take care of him. All you got to do is feed him once every 3 hours. I was like, so we waited for hours because we wanted to wait for her to come back, and they didn't move. They're meow, meow, and they're just sitting there. So we waited, but eventually we're like, oh, we couldn't take it anymore. So we scooped him up, put him in a little box with a blanket, and then got a little bottle, and oh my gosh, started trying to feed him. Anyway, so we started doing that, and we're like, this is not going to work. So, and remember, Janet was feeding Broken Leg up to this time, so she kind of knew who she was. So we drove back to the church that evening, and sure enough, Broken Leg was just out in the parking lot. Meow, meow. And we're like, hi, and we got her. So we got her. By the way, children, do not do any of these things, okay? This is an adult story. Do not ever do this, okay? This is fictional, okay? It's just make-believe. So we brought Broken Leg home, and we had all the kittens in a little box in our laundry room, and we brought Broken Leg home. We let her out, and she just ran behind the washer dryer. Didn't come out. We're like, ugh. So we said, well, we left her in there because she was traumatized. So we decided to drive out to Walmart to get a heating bottle to put under the blanket for the kittens. So we went out, 11 o'clock at night, we came back, and Broken Leg was in the box nursing all her little babies. Yeah, I know. So we're like, yay! What are we going to do with all these kittens? So again, we had no intention of keeping anybody. So we're like, okay, there's Whitey, there's Blackie, there's Gray, you know what I mean? And that's what we named him, Blackie. Why, I forgot what we named him. So as a couple weeks passed, we were able to find homes for all of them. Janet's sister took one of my employees back at the time took one, and we got rid of all of them except little Blackie and Broken Leg, the mom. So we kept both of them. And the story continues. So that was how they started their life, okay? It was an interesting life. Many years later, they lived happily. We actually ended up getting 2 more. Oh, anyway, it's crazy. Okay, so we had all these pets, and they lived wonderfully until later one day. So here's the story of Broken Leg. Now, one day, Broken Leg, she was an outdoor cat, and my neighbor was getting his fence done on the bottom of his house. He was respackling his house. So, you know, when your house is raised off the ground, they got those air vents on the bottom. All of those were removed, and they're respackling the house. And the next day, they put them back on. Yeah, you know where this story's going. Who went under the house? Broken Leg. And she was an outdoor, very independent cat, and we would just leave food out there. And I didn't see her for a couple days, and I went, you know what? She's gallivanting around. She's fine. She knows how to survive. And then I didn't see her for like a week. And I'm like, I don't think she... And then my neighbor goes, hey, is your cat in my house? I don't know, is he? He was hearing meowing from underneath his basement subfloor. 11 days had gone past. And, you know, I thought she was just, what are you going to do? She's gone, right? So I went in there, we go into his master bedroom, we remove the floor, and I'm sticking my head in the floor, which is kind of scary, right? And in the pocket, there's a lot of rodents in here. And I'm sticking my head in, I see white, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's her. And we coaxed her out with some food. She popped out, just meow, like that. It was unbelievable. 11 days. I don't know what's down there. I don't think there's food. I don't think there's water. So it gave new meaning to the term, cats have 9 lives. So you think that she would have dodged that bullet. Months later, she was gallivanting around again. Our neighbor is pulling out of our house, and in the rearview mirror, she sees a little cat get clipped by a car. Poof! And the cat tumbles. And our neighbor, Chas, is an animal lover. She loves animals. She's like, oh my gosh! And she's like, I know I'm late. She had to turn the car around. She had to see if the little kitty cat was all right. She goes out there, and the cat is just like this, and she picks it up. It's Broken Leg. Janet's going to work shortly after going, hey, there's Chas in the middle of the road. What's she doing? She's all, Chas, what are you doing? And she goes, I don't know, this poor little kitty cat got hit. And Janet's all, oh my gosh, that's Broken Leg. We take her home, we take her to the vet and this and that. 24 hours, she walked it off. She walked it off, good as new, unbelievable. That was, you know, okay, so she survived that. Now, if that's not enough, we got to continue with the whole bloodline. Now, Blackie. Let's come to Blackie. Blackie lived a long, beautiful life of probably 14 years at this point. I mean, these guys went long. Yes, for outdoor stray cats, 14 years. we were fixing the fence. Blackie was an outdoor cat too. Has all his claws, everything, okay? These guys are healthy, fully able, healthy cats. We moved the fence planks. We finished the fence, put it back up. Where's Blackie? On the other side of the fence. Is that a big deal for a cat? I don't think so. No. Apparently it was for him. This guy had no idea. Either he didn't know we were on the other side of the fence or didn't know how to climb the fence. He was there for weeks and weeks past. And I said, you know what? He's 14. So I said, I was explaining to Ellie, I said, it was probably his time, and cats typically do go away, right? When it's their end of their life. So I waited. I'd go out every morning, every night. Blackie, here's a little treat. And I would shake the treat can. Never a sound from this cat. Months went by. 3 months went by. I waited 3 months before, and he was our last cat by then. I gave away everything. The cat box, his cat bed, cat toys. I go, hey, Lorna Fong, you want to? She's like, I'll take the cat food. I brought it to Lorna's house, gave her a sack of cat food, put the cat litter, everything was gone. And I get a call from my neighbor, Jason. Hey, do you have a brown cat? No, he mentioned the brown cat months before. There's a brown cat in our backyard. It's not brown. What's his name? What's his name, everybody? Is he brown? No. Okay, so, but months later, he was convinced, and he called me. Sure enough, I was at work at the time. I said, Janet, you need to go over to Jason's house. Check it out, next door. And Janet goes over. This is 3 months, people. Janet goes over and they go, I think it's him. And I go, what do you mean? Here, typical husband. What do you mean you think? What do you mean you think it's him or it's not him? By then, he was so skinny, but Jason was feeding him a little by little. I just said, forget it, I'm going. She texted me a picture, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's him. I drove home, and I'm like, Blackie? And you don't understand the emotional roller coaster that I went through in that moment. The cat came back 3 months later, old. So it was him. It was him. I couldn't believe it. So we removed one fence plank and let Blackie live in our backyard and his backyard for the next, whatever. And Blackie lived for another whole year, He lived another whole full year after that trauma. I guess what I'm trying to say is our pets are incredible and they're amazing. And the point is even after all that trauma they go through, the moment you get them back, they're just right back to normal. It's just unbelievable. Back to normal. He's just back in his regular swing of life. He didn't have trauma. He didn't worry. It was just unbelievable. And until finally, Blackie ended up finally passing away. He was 15 and it was right in front of me. He was home. I was very thankful. He came home, he was there, he was safe, and he lived an incredible life that he probably wouldn't otherwise have lived. And that's the final lesson, right, that our pets teach us. The pets teach us about the impermanence of all things in life. They remind us that our moments together will not last forever, and they remind us how important it is to appreciate and embrace each memory together, not just with our pets, but with each other, right? Because every single day that you cared for them and you loved them and spent time with them, every single day was worth it. Even though one day they'll be gone and it's going to be painful that they can't be with you forever, it makes each and every moment even more precious, right? And that's the final thing that our pets teach us. So with that, will you please join me in Gassho? We love our pets because they never judge us. We love our pets because they live life in the moment without any regret. And we love our pets even more because they will not be with us forever. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.